It's time for Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt. Todd Marquardt, attorney at law in Texas. If you're a millionaire or a thousandaire, Talk Law Radio is now on the air. Call in with your business law question, your elder law question, veteran aid, Medicaid, build a business to get paid. 210-308-8867. Or ask a question online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's MARQUARDT lawfirm.com. And now it's Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. So we're on KLUP 9:30 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. KSLR on Saturdays at 11 o'clock in the morning. We're on KLUP 9:30 in San Antonio on Sundays at 4:30 in the afternoon. But wait, there's more. We're also in Houston, KNTH 1070 and 103.3 FM in Houston, Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock in the morning. Today's going to be a great show. We're going to be talking about business and commercial insurance with Emily Wycpalek.
Yes, sir.
I got it right. Awesome. And also Jacob Warren with Financial Planning HQ. He's going to give us the financial focus. And Jacob's been working for 10 years in the financial advice industry. And I accidentally deleted your bio. So I know that you're married and you have 2 kids and you love them dearly.
That's great.
And right now you have a newborn and a toddler, and so you never sleep.
That is correct. Yes, I'm running on fumes here, so please bear with me. But I am happy to be here, Todd. It's always a blast to be on the show.
Yeah. So going on with the same theme of working with young business owners and giving them great financial advice, what can business owners do to get started working with a financial advisor?
Yeah, if you think you're at a point where you want to talk to a financial advisor, the best place to start would be to talk to successful people that you know and ask them who they work with. You want to be asking a lot of questions and figuring out if this is someone that you would also want to work with in regards to, fees, what their process is, and what you can expect from working with them. And another option is obviously to go online and see which financial advisors say you're in San Antonio have really good reviews and, the clients love them. That's always a good place to look as well. And if you're new to town or something and you just want to have that initial conversation with someone, of course, you could always reach out to myself and we could have just a quick conversation, see if we're a good fit together, and kind of talk to you a little bit about what I do, which we'll talk about a little bit more.
Great. And this is Jacob Warren with Financial Planning HQ. They're a sponsor of Talk Law Radio. He's giving us the financial focus, and Jacob is telling us how young business owners can have a great financial future. What if they have an existing financial advisor? What kind of questions should they be asking their existing financial advisor?
Yeah, if you have an advisor already, I would be asking them a couple of different things. The first thing you want to kind of ask yourself is, do you have what's called a financial roadmap, a document where you have all of your goals and your values and kind of a benchmarking of reality of this is the assets that I have now. If you have that, that's great. What you want to look for in a financial advisor is someone who can help you build a team around you of subject matter experts like both of you guys here. You want to have a great commercial insurance agent and also a good attorney on your team to make sure that you're getting the highest quality advice in multiple different areas, not just the traditional asset management, if that makes sense. And if you're not receiving this from your advisor, say you're a business owner, your situation is complicated, it's possible that you've kind of outgrown that relationship and you need to interview and talk to other people who are capable of handling very complicated business owner type issues. So yeah, that's what I would be asking.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And I would ask them if your financial advisor is aligned with your tax planning and your estate planning, because that's something else that you do.
Yeah, and we're living that right now. And that's a huge benefit to our clients is that all of your subject matter experts speak with each other. I talked about this a little bit last week, but we have a client going through something right now where we had her attorneys, we had her investment people, we had her financial planners, insurance people, all on one call talking about a matter that she's dealing with now. We're all on the same page. We all know who's doing what to make sure that she's taken care of. And that's a huge benefit, and it really takes a lot of stress out of our clients' lives, knowing that, hey, I got a full team of experts ready to go and ready to help me out.
Right.
Yeah.
And also another question is fees. Mm-hmm. How do you get paid? Tell us about what type of questions they should be asking about fees.
Fees are vitally important in financial services. It's kind of a funny thing with it in that, you know, you go to the store, you see the price of something, you know what you're paying. You hire someone to like fix your car or fix your plumbing, and you know this is what it costs. You work with a financial advisor, you have no idea how they get paid, right? Whether it's an asset management model where they're just charging a percentage. If that's the case, you want to know in dollars and cents what you're actually paying your financial advisor, because you could be overpaying a lot, especially now in the modern world where investment management is rather cheap and you can get very high investment management for almost no fees nowadays. And also, if your advisor is charging you commissions on something, you want to know how much they're getting paid to offer you these products, because, you know, that can create, you know, an incentive for them to sell you things that you may or may not need, if that makes sense. So at our business, we do flat fee advising, so it's more consultative. You know exactly what you're paying me. You know exactly what you get in return. And I would highly encourage people to seek out that type of relationship with a financial advisor. It's just all around better for you.
Okay, so tell us about the financial roadmap. What does that mean?
Financial roadmap it's an initial meeting. It takes about an hour for a couple. If you're a single person, it's quicker. But what that is we'll sit down and we're not even going to talk about money until the end of the meeting. I want to understand your values, right? What's important about money to the individual. I've conducted a lot of financial roadmap meetings, and I've not done one that's the same as another one. And
people are different.
People are different. You know, people want to leave money to their kids. People want to spend all their money. I've seen it all.
Right.
And it's important to understand that, because that is really the guiding light in me giving advice to clients, right? In terms of like, how much risk should you take, or should you be really conservative, or different moves that you can make to make sure that you're actually able to visualize your financial roadmap. And the other important part about that is your goals. Writing those down, writing down a target date, how much they cost. A lot of people have goals. Some people write them down, but not a lot of people actually track and like can keep up with what exactly they need to do to accomplish their goals. And that's what we're all about. And it's a great conversation. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes it feels like couples therapy, because people are so different. Like, I didn't know you thought that. And you know, things like that come up. But also as a married person, it's great to know how your spouse feels about these things and have that conversation, because a lot of people, you're not going to have that conversation on your own.
Yeah, my wife and I went to one of those box store financial advisors a few years ago, and at this particular firm, the advisors are taught that everybody retires. Mm-hmm. And so the advisor asked me, you know, when I was going to retire, and I said, I'm not.
Right.
You know, I save money, you know, just in case I can't work, but I'm not ever going to stop working.
Right.
I mean, I love what I do.
Exactly.
And my wife's sitting over here, and she says, what? I thought we were going to travel together. And I said, well, you can go travel, but I'm going to be at work.
Right.
And so the advisor, he was like, didn't know what to say or do. He just said, I can't work with you. And I said, well, I can't work with you either.
Right. And that's why it's important to know that. Like if you would have just had the meeting and, you know, you just pull out your statements, this is how much money I have, you would have never found that out. That's why it's important as an advisor like myself to make sure that I understand all of these things before I start giving advice, or else my advice may not be at the highest standard it could be.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. So what resources can you offer our listeners this week?
Yes. So I typically charge for consultation, but you know, if you call in as a watcher or viewer of the show, we can do that free of cost. So just a consultation. We'll talk a little bit about what I can offer to you, and that usually comes in a 20-minute conversation. Comes with a free book if you're a reader, a great book about completing your own financial roadmap by yourself. But of course, if you do want to move forward, I can complete your financial roadmap for you. And if you did want to reach out for that consultation, my phone number is 210-444-2128.
210-444-2128.
Got it.
Got it. Okay, we still have a couple of minutes, so I have a surprise question for
I'm ready.
you, Jacob.
I love surprises.
What do Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger say about business insurance? And you can jump in too, Emily, if you know the answer.
About business insurance?
Yeah.
You may be more equipped to answer that than me.
Well, I'm a big fan of Berkshire Hathaway, and I know that one of their holdings is Geico Insurance. They also own part of Chubb, which is a commercial insurance. And so when Warren Buffett talks about insurance, he talks about how much he loves it as an investment himself, because he says people pay premiums, and then when the insurance company gets that money, they can invest it.
Right.
And it's just sitting there until they have to pay claims. And so he calls that the float. And he says they make a huge amount of money that way by investing the premiums.
Right.
When Charlie Munger talks about it, he talks about the ideal scene of self-insurance. Well, he's a billionaire, you know.
Right.
He probably can pay for, mistakes that are made or... So he says, this is a quote from Charlie Munger, "In my own life, I'm a big self-insurer, and so is Warren. It's ridiculous to carry fire insurance on my houses because I can so easily rebuild a house that would burn down." End quote. So if you can afford to insure all of your problems, he's saying that you should. I just thought it was interesting.
No, and when you think as a financial advisor, one of the biggest investments for people of all money classes and revenue is their home. So, I mean, to get a home, we have to get a loan. Right. And so you have to live by whatever those rules are set forth by your mortgage company.
Let's talk about that after the break. Thank you for joining us, Jacob, for the Financial Focus. We thank Financial Planning HQ for sponsoring the show. Give them a call, 210-444-2128. We'll be right back. Are you confident about your financial future? What if you had a clear financial roadmap and a team holding you accountable to make the best financial decisions no matter what? At Financial Planning HQ, Steve and his sons, Joseph and Jacob, have been helping San Antonio families since 1987 with inspiring, intelligent financial strategies. Whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming more tax efficient, or building business wealth, we create a comprehensive, written lifetime financial strategy that's uniquely yours, based entirely on what's important to you. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Call Financial Planning HQ today at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. And take the first step towards financial clarity. That's Financial Planning HQ, inspiring financial strategies for San Antonio. Remember, 210-685-2722. What if you couldn't speak for yourself? A power of attorney ensures someone you trust can act on your behalf. I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. Let's put your plan in place now. Schedule your free consultation at marquardtlawfirm.com or call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Do it before you die. In the beginning, God had one law: don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws that might impact you without you knowing it. So listen to Talk Law Radio. Today we're going to be talking about insurance for businesses, commercial insurance. And Emily Wycpalek is here with me. She has a company called Ground Up Insurance, and she runs her company in a very different way, and she'll explain all of that. But first, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? Tell us as much or as little about your family as you want. And
I am from Corpus Christi, Texas. My parents are both from the Midwest, Nebraska, and my dad got stationed in Killeen, and my mom graduated from UT, and so they just stayed here.
And they loved the beach.
They did love the beach. They still love the beach. So I, born and bred, my mom and dad both taught at Del Mar College.
Okay.
My dad taught hospitality, and my mom taught early childhood development. So you can see where. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I remember when I was a little girl, I would play at her desk because sometimes she would let me grade papers, and I would pretend like I was selling insurance.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you get that idea?
I have no idea because I didn't, other than we've had some insurance things come up, but it's always kind of been important to my family that you be able to cover what you're responsible for, even if it's an accident, because something can happen and you can always be held.
Right.
And they want to be able to take care of the people that they encounter and the things that they're responsible for.
Well, back in those days, I don't remember commercials like the Lizard and Flo and the General. Now our TV time is covered with insurance commercials.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think it's so funny because you'll see these like little snippets like on TikTok and other places where they talk about the big money waster on insurance is having an agent because they're taking the commission. Weren't they doing a Super Bowl commercial?
Right. You got to pay for that commercial too.
Yeah, I think everyone knows who Geico and Flo and everyone is now. So, it'd be nice to see some really good things come out of that. Other than that, so I worked for Farm Bureau Bank for 10 years, and that was sort of my first. Evidently, you're either a banker and become an insurance agent or an insurance agent and become a banker.
Okay.
So it's like this reciprocal relationship. But I joined when all of a sudden banks were selling insurance. And so Farm Bureau decided that they were going to start their own bank and take all their accounts back because they weren't being referred anymore by their bankers. So it was really interesting to come in on that. And I came with FDIC changes. And so it was a lot of fun. And then after I had my babies, decided to go into insurance because I wanted something. I really like that corporate feel, but I wanted to feel like I was doing something really good for people. And insurance is so pure. It's me taking care of you and you taking care of me and saying that we trust each other enough that we're not going to take advantage of the system, but we'll be there to be indemnified, which is to be made whole.
Right. I love that explanation. I'm not sure anybody would see it that way, though.
I know. I have people tell me all the time, your insurance sounds great. I was like, I know, just wait. But I worked at Nationwide, started part-time in their Titan Auto because they had bought this like little company. And then I moved to commercial almost immediately and I jumped in. It was so much fun.
Why is it more fun?
It's fun because it's almost like there's a higher level of interest, and it is so wonderful to join in someone's dream, to help them get to where they're going next, and to follow that, and to be I really do think, and you may take offense to this, but I think you have insurance, if you're making a claim without your own insurance agent, it's like going into court without a lawyer.
Right.
You may know some of the things, but you don't know the words. You don't know the society around it or the people.
Right, and everything that built that industry.
Yeah, and it's so important to have someone who really, really cares about how you're doing. And we throw around these insurance terms, it'll be a tagline and all you'll hear about is workers' comp or, like it seems seasonally, like one person talks about it and all of a sudden everyone else is talking about it. Or they're offer a discount for them and it's the same discount as everyone else. But it's really important to get in there and know how it affects you. How does it affect you? And that's my job, is to be able to speak that language to how it affects you and be able to take things that are important to you and you're worried about and turn them into something that's covered so that you know that you're protected where you need to be protected, and things that you don't care about are not a big deal. You're not paying for something that you're not going to use.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Thank you for telling us all of your background. I just realized now you're a business owner selling insurance to businesses. And so tell us about your business.
So this is a project of love. I tried some different things getting to this because I know I wanted to have my own agency so I could advocate for people. I think that's really important. My sister, right after COVID, when we were finally released and you could go out to dinner,
right?
We went to a restaurant and it had a playground, and the playground was not there. It didn't have enough
wood chips or
wood chips,
rubber chips,
and there were holes in the stairs. And she had gone down there with her children, and my sister's a foster mom, so she always takes sibling sets, so she's always got like 5 kids with her. And she tripped and broke her ankle in 3 different places. Yep.
Well, thank God nothing happened to the kids.
I know. Well, and they've adopted 2 of them too. So she had 2 that were her babies, and they were upstairs. So when she was healing from this terrible accident where they had to put pins in, and evidently she's allergic to pins, and then she was allergic to the antibiotic that they put in, and she had a bone inflammation. So she actually has a fused bone and just 1 bone now. But what really hit me about this, we were trying to get her ready because she was scared to go to the park with her kids because they would run off. And she couldn't keep up with them. She couldn't go upstairs to tuck them into bed at night. So all these kind of little heartbreak things. And the insurance company tried to settle for $5,000 and go along her merry way.
Right.
And we talked about that. But what it really came down to is we talked about that business owner who trusted their insurance company.
Right.
And they didn't have feet on ground. They didn't have someone there to tell them where they had some gaps in their coverage.
Right.
And that's what I think is so important. You've got to know your place. You got to walk around. You've got to have those big conversations about what's important to be insured. And when they were taking the gurney up, one of the EMTs fell through the stairs and could have gotten hurt. Yeah. But luckily he got, and someone came over, and they were very sweet to us at the restaurant, but someone came over and said, "Oh, don't worry. This happens all the time."
That means they knew about it
all the time.
They knew about it in advance. That makes it worse. That's like recklessness.
Yeah. And I don't blame the risk person there is that agent. But who knows? They may have gone and did 15 minutes, and did their policy without knowing what they needed to consider endorsement wise.
Wow, that's such a tragedy. I hope that she's doing better.
She is. Well, and we decided we went to Europe to get her going, and she walked all over Europe and with her cane and kept up with everything. And that was my 50-year-old birthday. So we did a sister's trip. And while we were on there, we decided we wanted to start an agency.
Great.
Yeah. And she was a community educator. and would go out and do different things for the Coastal Bend Wellness Association. And
do you work well together?
Sometimes. Like I said, like right now she has 5 children because she has a sibling set, because she's a foster parent. But I love the fact that we've taken on something that will allow us to take care of our family and work and help people in those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to have you on the show talking about insurance with Emily Wycpalek. I have to look at the name so I can remember how to say it. All of my viewers and listeners, they know I'm terrible with names. So thank you for your patience. Wycpalek.
I'm impressed.
I'll have it memorized by the end of the show, I promise. Well, we're going to have to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about sinners and saints and insurance stories and also a new law.
Yes.
About cybersecurity, right?
The safe harbor.
There's a safe harbor in Texas law now, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Now it's time to discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Emily Wycpalek, who has a company called Ground Up Insurance, and she helps people with business and commercial insurance to insure against risk. But this is the third segment. It's the Sinners and Saints segment. Okay, so I got the idea for Sinners and Saints because I'm Lutheran. Martin Luther said we're all sinners and saints at the same time. We're sinners because we were born into sin, but because of Jesus, we're forgiven and absolved, so that makes us a saint too. So I got the idea, well, I'll talk about somebody who does something bad, something usually related to the law, that's the sinner, and somebody that did something good, that's going to be the saint. And this week, let's see, the sinner that I wanted to talk about was this CEO of a South Korean company. They say that there was a leak, there was a breach of data, and so I thought that would fall into what we were talking about, cybersecurity. Have you heard about the South Korean company?
I have not heard about that. That looks great.
Well,
interesting.
The company dominates South Korea's e-commerce market, and this was reported in Reuters, by the way, and they do delivery of products, video streaming, food delivery, and so there was just this data breach, and the reason it made the news today is because the CEO refused to go to the South Korean Congress and explain what happened. Now, he did send the subsidiary for South Korea, the head of that, to go answer the questions, but this made their Congress members very upset that he wouldn't go, and so they want to find him in contempt and issue more fines. But it just goes to show you that big companies have data breaches. We hear about them in the news. You were talking about something that happened with Salesforce, but it wasn't really Salesforce's fault.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So basically there are lots of businesses that use Salesforce, and some of those businesses were hacked. One of them was they opened phishing emails, and the other one is they gave they let people in and gave people answered questions they shouldn't have answered.
Okay.
So they ended up in there and stole information and decided, since they had all these little companies that they kind of hit, they decided that it would be better to go after the big fish, Salesforce.
Oh, right.
And so they did their extortion to Salesforce, and Salesforce response is, one, we know it wasn't us. We know you did not get the data from us. And forensics will prove that, so we're not worried about that. But the other thing is, we know you're going to put the data out there anyway, because you always do.
Okay.
And what's the point of trying to get you to stop this? And it was really interesting. They had to go on the dark web, and it was the U.S. and France. They went in and stopped that website. And of course, it tried to pop up another place, but it was really interesting. And it really goes to that, what's first party and third party liability? Like, who's responsible for what? Well,
tell us in this example, who's the first party?
The first party is going to be the actual person that
gave up the phishing email, clicked
on the wrong thing.
That's the first party. And the third party would be Salesforce?
Salesforce, because while they're in there, and mind you, everyone has first and third party liability within the policy. Because in contract language, they're very specific on who's responsible for what. And so their third party responsibility, where Salesforce would come in, was to make sure that they had access, to put in multi-factor authentication, and to provide them with things, make sure that the system ran the way it was supposed to. But ultimately, the data was housed at first party, not at third party.
Okay. So we're talking about a specific case where data was breached by some
hackers.
Hackers. They got data from some company that used Salesforce to do whatever they do. And the reason we're talking about it is because this is a business and commercial risk. You store your company's data. You use your customers' data for whatever you need to do, and then some other hacker takes it. Then you're responsible to your customers. But it's something that you can buy insurance for, right?
Exactly.
And so tell us how that works.
So it's really interesting. So if you look at one of the most typical, easiest policies to get, especially for small business owners, is called the BOP, the Business Owner's Policy.
Oh, okay.
And it combines your property.
BOP.
Yeah, BOP. Yeah, we love our jargon. It combines your liability and your property, and then it gives you a few endorsements to help you cover. And there's a data breach that is covered in a BOP. However,
if you get the endorsement, or
no, this comes with it, but it's usually not very much money, and it doesn't have the comprehensive coverage that you would have if you had an endorsement. So that's the next level.
What would this data breach pay?
Maybe like $25,000.
Okay.
That's what you'll usually see.
All you have to do is tell them that a hacker stole some data, and then
we had a data breach.
The insurance company gives you $20,000.
We're paying out this much money. We need your help. Because when a data breach happens, the person who is held responsible for the data breach also has to do things to help mitigate the risk of identity theft.
Yeah.
Yes. And so you have to buy, those little things you get where you can go into Equifax or Experian and set all these things up. Yes. Yeah. Identity fraud that they'll buy you for a year or two, you have to buy those. As a small business owner, I don't think that most people think about that. So if you have, maybe you're relatively small, maybe you have like 1,000 customers. That's 1,000 people if your data got breached that you would have to provide this service for. And it's not cheap.
Yeah. So that's what the insurance would help pay for. You mentioned an endorsement that provides more comprehensive coverage. Tell us how that's better or different.
So it's a little bit better because it goes in there and it actually identifies more of what it's going to do. So it'll cover things like, your court cost on what it's going to cost. It may have and mind you, carriers are different from one to the next.
Right.
It may cover notification. So they'll do the notification and they'll do the forensics. That's usually included so they can see who's really at fault.
You have to send out letters to all the customers.
You have to notify. And then here's the fun part. If you get a cyber policy will go in there and they do PR for you.
Oh, really?
Yes, part of their responsibility and what they've taken on is they'll take on your reputation and help you market and help get things out there and be as transparent as you need to be and make sure that everything's taken care of as far as making sure that people have the information that they need so that they still want to do business with you.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because if you can't protect my data, maybe I don't want to use that service.
Exactly. Well, and I was thinking there's so many, I don't know if you get them, but I get emails all the time, and texts now, texts that want me to call them or do this thing. There's so many things in there where
phishing for information. I just got one today from what was portraying or pretending to be a law firm. And it just said, did you get this package with this tracking number? And so I asked my records guy, did we get something from this law firm? And he said no. And I noticed that the email address didn't match the name of the law firm that the proposed employee said she was working for. And so I just Googled, the name of that law firm. Is this a scam? And Google said yes.
Well, and I like how quickly those get reported, as soon as they come up. I had one, and it makes me wonder where they get. Texas is pretty transparent on things. Like you can go up and see who owns certain houses unless they don't share that information. You can go and see when someone got their roof fixed or certain things on the coast. And I was driving through Dallas to go see my friends at Liberty Mutual, and while I was there, I, of course, drove on the toll roads. And I got something on my phone telling me that I needed to pay my toll. Well, I did need to pay my toll.
Right.
That was legitimate. I needed to pay my toll. But they didn't have my number. And my husband is who's on top. So I was like, this is really odd. But, I mean, if I didn't know any better, I would have clicked on it and find out.
Yeah, there's a scam going around that you have to pay your toll. Just click this link, and then that's when they clean out your bank account. So be very careful when you click on things on your phone or on your email. I'm talking with Emily Wycpalek with Ground Up Insurance about business and commercial insurance. This is a hidden legal issue blind spot. Stay tuned. There's more. We're going to talk about your legacy. Are you 100% confident that no matter what happens in the financial markets, economy, or world events, you will achieve your financial goals? If not, we have a process to get your financial house in perfect order and keep it that way forever. Your financial future shouldn't be a guessing game. Planning, advice, organization, and accountability are deliverables you should expect. For over 35 years, Financial Planning HQ has been San Antonio's trusted partner for comprehensive written lifetime financial strategies. Steve and his team, including sons Joseph and Jacob, don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, they create a personalized financial roadmap for you based on what's important to you. As an independent registered investment advisor, they're not tied to any big corporation's products. They work for you, creating inspiring, intelligent financial strategies that put your interest first. Call Financial Planning HQ at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. What if you couldn't speak for yourself? A power of attorney ensures someone you trust can act on your behalf. I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. Let's put your plan in place now. Schedule your free consultation at marquardtlawfirm.com or call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Do it before you die. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Emily Wycpalek, who has Ground Up Insurance, and she helps business owners and commercial establishments insure against risk. And we're going to talk about legacy.
And now, it's time for the Talk Law Radio Legacy Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
This is the Legacy Spotlight, and there's a sound effect where somebody with a gavel is hitting the table, so that's why I like to do that. Marquardt Law Firm sponsors this show, and attorneys at Marquardt Law Firm focus on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy. And you're involved in a group with my partner, Daniel Palmer, and so you know that he does estate planning, and he told me about what you do, and he said, hey, you need to meet Emily because she works with businesses, and I do a lot of business law, so we need to talk about that sometime.
Definitely.
But now I want to talk about your legacy. So we'd like for you to share something about what that means to you, or maybe you inherited some special family heirloom, or maybe there's one that you want to pass down to somebody, or maybe it's just the values that you've learned from those who have gone before you. You can just pick whatever you want to talk about. What is legacy?
So legacy to me, as I stated before, my mother and father were from Nebraska. Mm-hmm. My mother was from a very small farm town called Minden, or in Minden, Nebraska. Okay. It's called Christmas City.
Really?
If you ever see that funny daylight donut meme, that's their daylight donut. It's
really?
not open, and the sign's no longer there. But yeah. But the thing about it is they are proud farmers, salt of the earth people, innovative in what they've done. There's a place called Pioneer Village where you can actually go and see my grandmother's, her classroom. She took everything and donated it.
A one-room schoolhouse?
A one-room schoolhouse.
Okay.
And she was the one of the first women who got to teach school, even though she was married, because you were not allowed to do that. But one of the neat things as far as legacy on that is we have a family farm partnership. And so my grandma and grandpa made this farm partnership with their roughly about 850 acres. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to partner with the farmers of their land, and they take half the risk. They're not what they call cash rents, where they're not taking any of the loss on it. They're just getting, paid for the land. That's what cash rents is. But when they share with you, they get the harvest, but they also take the loss and help pay for your half of your supplies and do that. So it's like it's doing business like this, and it's a big deal. Well, unfortunately, brothers and sisters decide that they have different ideas on what legacy is, and decided that they wanted to do some changes. And unfortunately, my grandparents, we all know what their intent was, or at least everyone thinks they know what someone's intent is.
Right.
And so it was really painful to give up some of the land in order to,
some people wanted out of the partnership.
They wanted out of the partnership, and they wanted to own the land. They wouldn't let them buy them out. And so it was really hard, and hurt those relationships.
Yeah.
And that was never what we even call, even though I am not, my mom is Birchall. We're always the Birchall girls, we're bossy and smart. But yeah, so it was really hard to see that relationship. And so one of the things that my mom and her brothers and her sisters who are still in it are putting together what they want it to look like for the next generation.
Good.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing because we know exactly what they want. I always told, my dad passed away, and when he passed away, he had, a watch that he wanted to pass on to my brother, and he had this idea for how it would be used. But I had a long conversation with him. I said, you don't get to decide that. Once you give it to him,
Right.
he's allowed to do whatever he wants with it. And so it was like that. He just wanted to make sure there was no contention,
Right.
when dividing assets and that kind of thing. And they're very fair. He's was a very fair man. And so,
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's a wonderful story about how your parents work together with the community.
Yes. Well, and I love that. I love the idea of that. Especially, we only have one cousin that actually farms now. And so that's kind of heartbreaking in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the legacy segment. We promised you we would talk about this Texas law that gives a safe harbor. And so it's a cybersecurity law, Texas Cybersecurity Safe Harbor Law, found in Senate Bill 2610 from the 2025 legislative session. And tell us about it. How can we be safe?
Exactly. Well, so everyone's heard the buzzword of cyber, especially if you're a business that has a website or collects information. And the scary part of this is what you'll be held responsible for that could wipe you out as a small business, which is those other punitive damages, right?
Oh, punitive damages for somebody that's reckless. Like the restaurant that said this happens all the time, that's something that's very, very bad in the law.
Yes. And when you get something litigated, it's going to normal folks, and it's one place where common sense is common. I always tell people in insurance, common sense isn't so common.
Right.
Because they'll be like, why is this so convoluted? I'm like, what you're saying makes sense to me, but that's not how it works.
Right.
So with cyber being out there, one of the things you can get is you can get an actual cyber policy. Like I said, it protects all of this. Well, what this safe harbor law did for you is it's basically rewarding businesses with 250 people or less. That's all it's covering. And they are protected provided that they do certain things. So like if it's a 20 or less thing, they just need to have password protection and have cyber training every year.
Oh, okay.
But basically what it's asking you to together is not just to have a cyber policy, an insurance policy, but to have a cyber policy so that your customers and so that your employees know how to handle sensitive data.
Yeah, they need to learn about it. They need to take some action. Like if it were the restaurant example, maybe there's a safe harbor for people that don't have holes in the stairs, and they have a flat space for the kids to fall if they fall out of the slide or whatever. But for cybersecurity, you have to have. What did you say again?
So you have to adhere. So for a business that's 20 or less, you have to have a password protection in place. And you also have to have training. So those are your two things that you'd want to do every year.
That's what everybody should do. That's the minimum standard of care.
Well, and I think almost everyone does it. If you look at all the things that are going, it's very hard to change your 18-digit password.
Right.
Once a month.
A lot of places, they force you to change your password now, and they tell you how many letters and numbers and special characters you're supposed to have. So that's a good thing to have. And you said it's for 250 employees and
or
less.
Because I think they think that people who have more employees than that would already have something in place.
Right.
I kind of feel bad, though. So Ohio's safe harbor law includes all businesses. And also, they named certain things like SOX 2 and NAIST, the federal adherence you have to have as you get to bigger. They're more
like bank level security for websites so that they don't get their data stolen.
Exactly. And it's so important to have a policy in place. And one of the things is, if that's not your cup of tea and you don't know how to put it together, it's so important to work with a subject matter, a SME on that who does cyber. I mean, you've got to have a cyber protector. And if you go into that, that's someone who can work hand in hand with your insurance and tell you exactly what you need covered.
Well, back in the olden days, all we worried about was computer viruses. And so years ago, this was 11 years ago, I think, I had an attorney that got a virus on the computer. And, it disrupted the whole workflow. And so after that, I kind of got the feeling that we were being targeted by, terrorists in other countries. And so I had met this guy that does computer security, and I said, I need whatever you have. And so I pay him an ungodly amount of money every month, every year, so that he protects us from a lot of that stuff. But insurance on top of that is recommended.
Definitely.
We got 40 seconds left. What do you absolutely want everybody to know?
I just want people to know that if they want to know how their insurance is working and they don't have an agent that they can get with, feel free to give us a call and connect with us at Ground Up Insurance.
Call you or email you or go to your website?
All of them. I want to do all of the things. We're on Facebook too.
Okay. Ground Up Insurance. Check it out. Emily Wycpalek here on Talk Law Radio. We'll talk to you later.